Hare Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. Bhagwatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nitevaya Bhakti Yudhishthira Bhakti Krishna.
Mataji, your voice is not clear. Can you join from mobile? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. सर्गः प्रवर्तते तावत् पौर्वा पारेण नित्यशः महान् गुणविसर्गार्थ स्थित्यन्तः यावत् ईक्षणम् वीरान् मया साध्यमानो लोककल्पविकल्पकः पञ्चत्वाय विशेषया कल्पभुवनैः सह
विशेषाय कल्पते भुवनैः अन्ने प्रलीयते मर्त्यम् अन्नं दाना सुलीयते दाना भूमौ प्रलीयते भूमि
लीयते आपसु प्रलीयते गन्ध आपः च सुगुणे रसे लीलयते ज्योतिषी रसः ज्योतिरूपे प्रलीयते रूपं वायौ स च स्पर्शे लीयते सहापि च अम्बरे अम्बरं शब्द तन्मात्र इन्द्रियाणि स्वयोनिषु योनिः वैकारिके सौम्य लीयते मनसीश्वरे शब्दो भूतादिम् अप्यति भूतादिः महति प्रभो स लीयते महान् स्वेषु गुणेषु गुणवत्तमः ते अव्यक्ते सम्प्रिय लीयन्ते तत्काले लीयते अव्यये कालो मायामये जीवे जीव आत्मनि मये अजे आत्मा केवल आत्मस्थो विकल्पापाय लक्षणः
अनाणस्य कथं वै कल्पिका भ्रम मनसर्दिष्टे व्योम्नि इव अयतमः एष सांख्यविधि प्रोक्त क्रांति वेदना प्रतिलोमनुलोमाभ्याम् अवरदृश्य जगत गुरु की जय. As long as the
Hare Krishna. As long as the Supreme Personality of Godhead continues to glance upon nature, the material world continues to exist, perpetually manifesting through procreation, the great and variegated flow of universal creation. I am the basis of the universal form, which displays endless variety through the repeated creation, maintenance, and destruction of the planetary systems, originally containing within itself all planets in their dormant state. My universal form manifests the varieties of created existence by arranging the coordinated combination of the five elements. At the time of annihilation, the mortal
time
body
of annihilation, the mortal body of the living being becomes merged into food. Food merges into the grains, and the grains merge back into the earth. The earth merges into its subtle sensation, fragrance. Fragrance merges into water, and water further merges into its own qualitative taste.
That
The
is
test merges into fire, which merges into form. Form merges into touch, and touch merges into ether. Ether finally merges into the sensation of sound. The senses all merge into their own origin, the presiding demigods, and they, O gentle Uddhava, merge into the controlling mind, which itself merges into false ego in the mode of goodness. Sound becomes one with false ego in the mode of ignorance, and all powerful false ego, the first of all, the physical elements merges into the total nature, the total material nature, the primary repository of the three basic modes, dissolve into the modes. These modes of nature then merge into the unmanifest form of nature, and the unmanifest form merges into time. Time merges into the Supreme Lord, present in the form of the omniscient Mahapurush, the original activator of a living being. That origin of all life merges into me, the unborn supreme soul who remains alone, established within himself. It is from him that all creation and annihilation are manifested. Just as the rising sun removes the darkness of the sky. Similarly, this scientific knowledge of cosmic annihilation removes all illusory duality from the mind of a serious student. Even if illusion somehow enters his heart, it cannot remain there. Thus, I, the perfect seer of everything, material and spiritual, have spoken this knowledge of Sankhya, which destroys the illusion of doubt by scientific analysis of creation and annihilation. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although the Mahatattva impelled by the force of time is ingredient, a cause of this work, it is clearly explained here that the Supreme Lord is personally the only ultimate cause of all that exists. Time and nature are powerless without the glance of the personality of Godhead. He creates unlimited material variety for sense gratification of the conditioned souls who try to enjoy life as the children of particular parents and as the parents of particular children throughout the 84 lakh species of life. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the word Maya refers to the Lord in his form as eternal time. The annihilation of the material world is the reversal of the process of creation, and ultimately everything is merged to rest within the Supreme Lord, who remains full in his absolute position. The echo, just as the brilliant sun removes uh, all darkness from the sky, a clear understanding of the knowledge spoken by Lord Krishna to Uddhava removes all ignorance concocted by the material mind. One will then no longer accept the material body as the self, even if such illusion temporarily manifests within one's consciousness. It will be driven away by the resurgence of one's spiritual knowledge. Lord Sri Krishna has explained that the material mind accepts and rejects many different concepts of life, generating innumerable false arguments about the actual process of perfection. But a person who takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can see everything with clear intelligence. One who understands how the Supreme Lord creates and annihilates can be liberated from material bondage and devote himself to the eternal service of the Supreme Lord. Thus end the purpose of the humble servant of His divine grace. ऐसी Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 11th canto, 24th chapter of the Srimad Bhagwatam, entitled The Philosophy of Sankhya Yoga. Thus, Om Agyan, Om Agyan, Gyanan ददाति स्वपदकमल श्री गुरुन् वै तम
जनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पादार ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय
नमो
कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने
भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत नस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु श्रीवासादि गौरवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम कृष्ण हरे हरे हरे
कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So this 24th chapter, which is a part of the instructions of Krishna to Uddhava, is making us understand actually about Sankhya. So here Krishna is giving instruction how bewilderment of mind can be dispelled by the study of Sankhya Vigyan. So here analysis of material nature is something which is being explained. So the moment we are going to be able to assimilate this knowledge, we can drive away the confusion based on false dualities. Krishna has given such wonderful explanation throughout these verses. He explains that in the beginning of creation, the seer and the seen are one and indistinguishable. Krishna, who is Advitiya,
हरे सिंधु एव च
is
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
there
नमः। हरे
always
कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम।
and inaccessible, one who is inaccessible to words and mind. He initially separates into two. That is the seer, which means consciousness or personality, and the seen, which means the nature or the substance. The material nature, which comprises the three gunas, is agitated by Purusha. The Mahat Tattva then becomes manifest together with the energies of consciousness and activity. From these come the principles of false ego in the aspects of goodness, passion, and ignorance. When false ego in the mode of ignorance, it gives rise to the 15 subtle forms of sense perception, and then 15 physical elements. False ego in the mode of passion, we get the Dashendriya, that is 10 senses. And false ego in the mood of Satoguna, we get mind and the 11 demigods who preside over the senses. By conglomeration of all these elements grows the universal egg, in the midst of which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the creating Lord of the universe, takes a precedence in the role of indwelling supersoul. From the navel of this ultimate creator comes a notice on which Brahmaji takes form. Lord Brahma, because he is invested in the mode of passion, he executes austerities, and by the strength, by the grace of Krishna, he is able to create all the planets of the universe. Where the heavenly planets are meant for demigods, the inner space for the ghostly spirits, earth for human beings and others. The region above, the three lokas, are places for advanced sages, and the lower worlds are for the demons, nagas, and so forth. The goals achieved by activities based on the three gunas are within the three worlds itself. Now, for yoga, the destinations, severe austerity, and renounced order of life, they go to the worlds known as Mahar, Jana, Tapa, and Satya. The goal of devotional service is the lotus feet of Krishna in Vaikuntha. This universe of material action and reaction is constituted under the control of time. Moreover, whatever exists in this universe is simply the product of the combination of material nature and her Lord. In the same way that creation proceeds gradually from one and supremely subtle to the multitudinous and very gross, the process of annihilation proceeds from the grossest to the subtlest manifestation of nature, leaving only the eternal spiritual substance. The ultimate soul remains situated within himself alone and one without an end. The mind of the person who meditates on these ideas can never become bewildered by material dualities. So, the science of Sankhya, which makes us understand the narration in alternate sequence of creation and annihilation, serves to cut off all doubts and bondages. And that is the importance of this particular science. So we see that Krishna is the basis of the universal form. He is the one who is the source of everything. So if you go through Bhagavad Gita and we go through the chapter where Krishna is giving the power to Arjuna to see his universal form, it gives us the complete explanation what we are seeing here in detail. And that is what Krishna is repeating again here. And that is why this becomes all the more important for us to understand. Except that, yes, Krishna is one without second. Anadir Adir Govinda. Sarva Karana Karanam is what Krishna is. And the moment we are able to come to this conclusion, we can then go and understand that yes, this is what we have to achieve. So the whole intention when Krishna is explaining about this whole creation and annihilation of what role the false ego plays, of how the changes happen, is to make us understand the futility of the material world. Because finally, the time merges into Krishna when he is there in the form of Mahapurusha. And that merges into Krishna. So Krishna gives a very good example to us in today's shlokas of how the rising sun removes the darkness of the sky. Similarly, this knowledge of cosmic annihilation will remove all illusory dualities from our mind. Even if somehow illusion enters, it cannot remain there. And so we have to listen to this chapter, this knowledge repeatedly. And that is what even Krishna instructs, that this knowledge of Sankhya is spoken by him because he is a perfect seer of everything material and spiritual. And this knowledge will destroy the illusion of doubt by scientific analysis of creation and annihilation. So let us allow this sun to brighten our mind, which is darkened by ignorance and illusion. एवं अन्विकाक्षमानस्य कथं वैकल्पिको भ्रमः मनस हृदि तिष्ठेत व्योम्नि वार्कोदये तमः. Because only when we are able to achieve this will we be able to surrender completely to Krishna. And that is what Krishna wants us to do. When he clearly instructs us. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वं सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुच. So you have to give up all kinds of activities and surrender completely to Krishna to achieve his mercy. And when we are able to do it, then we are in a position to execute his next order. मन्मनाभव मद भक्तो मदयाजी माम नमस्कुरु मामेव एष्यसि सत्यम ते प्रतिजाने प्रियसी में. Always think of Krishna, become Krishna's devotee, worship Krishna, and offer homages unto Krishna. Then we will come back to Krishna without fail. And this is something which Krishna has promised to Arjuna because he is his dear friend. So, the most confidential part of knowledge is that we should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance of thinking of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that the daily activities are in connection with Krishna. We should arrange the life in such a way that throughout 24 hours we cannot but think of Krishna. And Krishna promises that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will return to his abode, where we will be engaged in association of Krishna face to face. And that is why we have to follow the path of Arjuna, so that we become dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection. Which form of Krishna should we concentrate upon? It's also very clear if you go through these shlokas. The very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with beautiful face, peacock feathers. This is what the description of Krishna is in Brahma Samhita. So we should fix our mind on this original form of Krishna and not his various incarnations. So concentration of the mind on Krishna, on the form of Krishna, is the most confidential part of knowledge. And that is what Krishna is going to continue further when he keeps on talking to Uddhava in subsequent chapters. Because it's not only annihilation from material bondage which is important. What is also equally important is how to devote ourselves to the eternal service of the Supreme Lord. So let us continue coming together. Let us also have our consciousness ready for the auspicious appearance day of Lord Sri Rama, which is coming on next Friday, Ram Navami on 17th April 2024. Hare Krishna. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो